Week 12, the final week of the CAA football regular season, is here, and I just want to open this up by saying this league is so much fun to watch. Each week is so competitive, and you have to credit the coaching staffs, players, and support staffs who put the work in every single day. It's been incredible to watch, but really the excitement is not done yet. The first thing to watch this week features the 56th Battle of the Blue. Last season, Villanova went to Newark and beat Delaware 21-13 in the rivalry game that clinched a share of the CAA championship. So I'm sure the Blue Hens are looking to return the favor at Wildcat Stadium, Rob.
Yeah, Carly, one of the many reasons that this rivalry has been so good is that one or both of these teams usually enter the game in contention for a conference title or a playoff berth, and that's the case again on Saturday. Delaware sits 7-3, and one more win would greatly enhance its chances of earning an at-large playoff bid. The Blue Hens will need to rebound quickly from last week's tough 21-13 loss to Richmond, in which they were literally inches away from picking up a victory. As always, Delaware will need a strong performance from a defense that is ranked in the top 3 nationally in points and yards allowed, and limited Richmond's high-powered attack to just 5 field goals. The Blue Hens offense was held scoreless for the first 3 quarters last week, but found some success in the running game in the fourth quarter to go along with the arm of Nolan Henderson. Now, Villanova will also be looking to bounce back after falling 45-12 at William & Mary. The Wildcats have thrived all year long on making big plays, but last Saturday it was a series of big plays from the Tribe that put the game out of reach. Villanova needs a strong performance from quarterback Connor Watkins and his talented group of runners and receivers, and will hope for an improved effort from its young defense. Now, Villanova has won 14 of the past 16 meetings in this rivalry, and another victory on Saturday would clinch a winning season for them.
Let's listen to what Villanova's Mark Ferrante and Delaware's Ryan Carty had to say on the Week 12 matchup.
We say all the time when you're getting ready to play Delaware, throw the records out the window. We say that in most CAA opponents, but in this one especially, throw the records out the window and be ready to strap it on and go out there and play a really competitive, hard-fought game.
It's a big one for us. It's something that we, that our fan base and our community cares about a lot. And we recognize that. We'd like to go into this game with the knowledge and the recognition that that Villanova as a game deserves, but also understanding that, we have to do the fundamental things correctly, regardless of who we're playing out there. And if we play our game, we're going to make it competitive and we're going to have a chance to win it at the end.
Now for our second thing to watch, the battle for the Bryce Cow Musket. Maine and New Hampshire have met 110 times throughout program history. Last year, Maine came away with the Musket with a 33-20 win over UNH. It'll be a really important matchup this year, Rob.
Yeah, this game is always one of the most intense of the season because there's so much pride and tradition for both schools in having possession of that musket for the next 365 days. The stakes couldn't be much higher for New Hampshire, which is currently locked in a 3-way tie for first place at 6-1 and can clinch at least a share of its first CAA title since 2014 and likely cement its first FCS playoff berth since 2017. Now, the Wildcats should be riding high after last week's sterling 31-28 win over Rhode Island. Quarterback Max Brosmer threw for a career-high 316 yards and 2 touchdowns, including a game-winning 26-yard scoring pass to DJ Lincolns on 4th and 9 with just 17 seconds to go. It was Brosmer's 5th straight game with more than 200 yards through the air, and he'll need another big performance in Orono. On the other side, Maine suffered a heartbreaking 23-21 setback at UAlbany, in which the Great Danes drove 76 yards in the final 143 and scored the winning touchdown with no time on the clock. The Black Bears continue to find creative ways to get the ball in the hands of Xavier Scott, who ran for a team-high 78 yards and a touchdown and also caught 6 passes for 58 yards at UAlbany. Along with veteran quarterback Joe Fagiano, he makes Maine dangerous on offense. Now, it's been a tough season for the Black Bears, but a season-ending win over their arch-rival would make everything better.
It's awesome. Both Jordan Stevens and Rick Santos have a lot of history playing in this one, but as Coach Santos said, they'll have to put the nostalgia behind and focus on the game in front. Let's hear what each head coach had to say about the upcoming rivalry game.
Playing for the Musket is a huge motivation for our program, and it's something that, I always believed in as a player, and as a coach here, as an assistant, and then now in this position, it's something that we want to make a big deal of. We make it important for our players in this rivalry.
It doesn't matter what the records are. You throw that out. It's going to be a battle. It's going to be contested. It's going to be chippy. There's no love lost here. And we know that. And I think Jordan's a tremendous coach. I think he's getting those guys fired up. They're playing hard every single week.
All right, our third thing to watch this week features the oldest rivalry in the South, the Capital Cup. A lot is at stake as number 8 William & Mary travels to number 11 Richmond. Both teams are coming off of fantastic wins in Week 11 and sit at 6-1, tied for first in the CAA standings. Talk about a fight to the finish. The winner of the matchup will claim at least a share of the conference championship for the first time since 2015 and could earn a seed and a first-round bye in the FCS playoffs. A lot of magnitude in this one. Rob, what you got?
You know it's a big game, Carly, when there's not one, but 2 trophies on the line. There are few rivalries in any sport that have been more competitive than this one, with Richmond holding a narrow 64-63-5 advantage after last year's victory in Williamsburg. The matchup on the field could not be more intriguing. Offensively, William & Mary relies on a rushing attack that has topped the 300-yard mark in 4 straight games. The Tribe has 4 players who have run for more than 390 yards this season, led by senior Bronson Yoder, who needs 28 yards on Saturday to become the first Tribe back to reach 1,000 in a season since 2016. The defense for the Tribe is solid too, holding opponents to less than 20 points per game. Linebacker John Pius ranks 3rd in FCS with 10.5 sacks and has 17 tackles for loss. Now on the other sideline is a Richmond offense that's number 1 in the CAA in passing at 291 yards per game. Quarterback Reese Udinsky has thrown for nearly 2,900 yards and 22 touchdowns and has completed 75% of his throws. The Spiders feature a fleet of 4 receivers with more than 400 yards, led by Jacob Harris and Leroy Henley, who have combined for 11 touchdowns. Richmond's defense has also been outstanding all year long, limiting foes to under 19 points per game, and they're number 1 in the CAA against the run at 108 yards per contest. Linebacker Tristan Wheeler is the leader of the group with a team-best 90 tackles. William & Mary enters Saturday's game on a 6-game winning streak. Richmond's on a 5-game winning streak. It should be a tremendous game.
I surely echo that. A lot of familiarity amongst these 2 teams, and the coaches are aware of the opposing talent on both sides of the field. Let's hear from Richmond's Russ Huseman and William & Mary's Mike London on the top 25 matchup.
It's an unbelievable rivalry. You know, that they're our biggest rival. We're their biggest rival. Yeah, it's not even close. They know it. We know it. So the records mean nothing. It's always a tremendous football game.
It speaks to the alumni. It speaks to opportunities for the Commonwealth Cup. It speaks to this game. It speaks to CAA conference champion opportunities, playoffs, home, away. I mean, there's so many things that are wrapped up into this particular game. Once again, that it's fitting that it's the last game of the season, and a lot is at stake.
If there's a time to lock into a weekend of CAA football, it is now. Make sure you visit CAAfootball.com for the full weekend schedule and tune in to Flow Football for all the action all weekend long. Plus follow at CAA Football on social media for results, highlights, and more.